Hello, Lindy here from Minds with Heart, and welcome to nature-based mindfulness in the garden. I feel a little bit nervous, so just letting that nervousness bubble away in me, as this is our first time going Facebook Live from the garden, but we thought it would be really nice to invite you to practice with us here, as we're really lucky to have all these beautiful trees around us. And today we're going to be doing a nature-based practice. So I'll just pop my guitar down. Hi, how are you? Looks like we've got a few people joining us. Hello. Later on, I'm going to have a look through the comments and there'll be time to ask your questions. So I'll get to those for sure. But hello to all those people who are joining us now or later watching the replay. So yeah, mindfulness in the garden. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm finding nature connection is really, really supportive for helping me come back to myself and feel grounded and feel calm at this time. So we're going to do a practice called breathing with trees, which is about being mindful of our breath, but also appreciating that trees play a part in that too. So if you're outdoors, you might find that you can see a tree. If that's true for you, have a look around, see if you can see a tree. You might like to practice facing the tree. If you're at home or inside and you can't see any trees, well, here's a couple for you right here. We've got a beautiful leopard tree here, which I just learned the name of last week. And this forest red gum, I'm told, as well. So we can use those as the focus for our practice. But it might be that wherever you are, you've got a plant that you might be able to look at. You might have a window where you can see a tree or the outside world through your window. Or it may be that you just want to bring into your imagination a tree that you really love. Like maybe you've got a favorite tree and you can just bring that into your mind. So if you can, let's find a standing position where our feet can be flat on the ground, about hip width apart. Or if you're sitting down, let's find an upright posture. Taking a moment to really feel our contact with the earth. So you might like to wiggle your feet or wiggle around in your seat and really feel those sensations of contact. You know, almost in the same way as a tree grows its roots down into the earth. Let's feel ourselves contact the earth and imagine that we're growing our roots down deep, deep into the earth too. Just like a tree, from that very solid base, then we grow upright towards the light. So allowing your own body to grow tall, reaching upwards, but also in a relaxed way. And then taking our attention to the tree that we can see, whether that's in our mind, in our room, through our window, on the screen, or right in front of us. Having a good look at this tree. Maybe noticing its shape and the different colors. Did you know that trees kind of breathe too? Although we might not be able to see it happening with our human eyes, trees are taking in the air. And they use part of the air for their growth to help them grow roots and leaves and branches for their energy. And trees also breathe out in a slightly different way to human beings. But yes, trees breathe out too. And what's really precious for humans is that the air that trees breathe out is rich with oxygen. And that's something that we need as human beings. So we breathe in the air from the trees, and we use that for our energy and to help our muscles grow. So we're breathing out and giving the trees something that they need, and the trees are breathing out and giving us something that we need. So we need the trees, and the trees need us. So we can think of that as we do our breathing practice. So let's find that upright posture again, looking at the tree in front of us. Now, we might not be able to see trees breathing, but we know that we're breathing. How do we know that? Well, check. How do I know that I'm breathing? I'm noticing that my chest and my abdomen are rising and falling. What about you? How do you notice that you're breathing? Well, let's place our hands on our chest and on our tummy and take a few nice, easy breaths. Feeling the rise and fall of your body breathing. Do you notice your hands moving up and down? So let's keep breathing slowly and quietly and feeling this movement happening in our bodies. Long, slow, quiet breaths. And if you find that your mind wanders away, because sometimes our minds do, don't they? That's fine. Just inviting it to come back, tuning in again to the rise and fall of your body breathing. And as we continue breathing, let's bring to mind the fact that we're breathing with the trees. Every in-breath, every time we breathe in, it's a gift from the trees. And every time we breathe out, that's our gift to the trees. And now, as we continue practicing, let's imagine that we are a tree, rooted down, tall and strong. Maybe being a tree that's been here for 100 years. A long time. And even though the wind comes, blows your branches a little bit, maybe sometimes you lose a few leaves, you still come back every time, upright, rooted and solid, strong, and growing towards the sunshine. Have a look around you. See what's in your forest. See how life feels when you imagine being a tree. Well, in a moment, we're going to come to the end of this practice, and I'll ring the bell to let us know that. So you can take your own time to let go of being a tree and come back. So it can be good to notice how we feel after we've finished practicing. And I'd love to ask you a few questions actually about how that was. So feel free to reply in the comments to these questions. And if you have any questions about the practice, there'll be time to add those in later too. So yeah, how did it feel to feel the breath moving in your body? What did you notice? And how did it feel remembering that we take in the air from trees and that we give the trees the gift of our air? How did you feel knowing that you're receiving that gift and then giving a gift back? And how did it feel to be a tree, to embody or become a tree? What qualities did you notice? For instance, me, I felt kind of strong inside, and that felt good. And finally, how did it feel to practice outdoors? Or to practice, if you're indoors, looking at nature, either on the screen or a plant in your house or through the window. Yeah, would love to hear your thoughts on those. So I'm just going to take a moment to have a look at any comments. And do feel free to ask any questions. If you've got any questions about mindfulness practice or this practice in particular. One question we often get is, what happens if I'm focusing on my breathing and it gets really tight, or I start to feel really tense? And that can happen sometimes. So one thing you might like to try is just making a bit less effort. You don't have to breathe hard. You don't have to really concentrate on your breathing. Long, gentle, slow, quiet breathing is what we're aiming for. In as relaxed a way as we can. So see if you can let go of making any efforts. If you're following your breathing and it feels like you're making a really big effort, just relax and see if you can find a really easy way to do it. So I hope that helps anybody who's had that as a question. Well, do feel free to get in touch if you've got any other comments or any other questions. Otherwise, we'll be back same time next week after lunch, 2 p.m. in Australian AEST time. Might be different in your time zone, but you can always play this video after lunch as a recording if you wish. Otherwise, go well, everybody, and maybe think about times in your day or your week when you would really like to be able to bring a little bit more calm, or feel a bit more grounded or connected, or feel a little bit more strong inside. Because maybe we can remember this practice and do it at other times when we notice that we feel a little bit stressed out. Or even lying down in bed. It might be nice to bring a tree to mind and breathe gently with the trees as we fall asleep. Take care, everyone.